Hello, welcome to the Vedic Lunar Scope for today, the 10th of December 2015. The moon today is transiting the early portion of the sign of Sagittarius, and over the course of the day today, it will be transiting Jyeshtha nakshatra. Tomorrow is the new moon. For some of you watching this, it will happen on what you consider to be today, which is the 10th. But here in the UK, which is where this is shown from, the new moon will take place overnight in the early morning hours. Your number one enemy at the moment is pride. The only problem is you're not really able to see where you are being prideful. And that's a lot of what is creating the real problem. It's not that you're not willing to cooperate, because you are. With the exception of maybe a slight bit, but that's something that I think is more subconscious for you than it is conscious at the moment. It's not that you're not approaching your situation with an open mind, because you are. It's just that something is now blocking you. What's blocking you? I'm going to say it again. It's pride. You see, what's happening is the situation that you're dealing with, what you're hoping to achieve at the moment, is becoming too much of a personal matter for you, to the extent that you're probably not even aware that it's so personal a matter because it's been building up for so long. And so your vision is becoming clouded. But little bit by little bit, what's happening is through the challenges that you're facing, your ego is being chipped away at. It's going to continue to be chipped away at. I know that doesn't sound like a very positive experience, but the result that it actually brings is something that is very positive. So little bit by little bit, the ego is going to be chipped away. Then, once you're blessed with that moment of humility, you'll see the way. Now, I'm going to say that, and you're going to think on the other end, okay, I'll just be humble. But humility is not something you can create. It's something you just are. In that moment that you're humble, in that moment that you're truly willing to listen, then that's the moment that the answer will come. It will just happen. The thing is you consciously feel you are truly willing to listen. And you are. But there's a subconscious part of yourself that's resisting the process. And that's the part of you that feels that so much of its dignity is wrapped up in the result or the outcome of the situation. You can't just consciously remove that from the way. It's something you have to work through. It's an emotion you have to bring your awareness to, and you have to let that emotion just move. Once that emotion moves, and once you recognize that your dignity cannot really truly be impacted by the outcome of this situation, because dignity, when it boils down to dignity, that's something that we carry around inside of ourselves. It's a natural possession. It's our pride that is the loss of dignity. What's the proof of that? Well, you can find people in the worst of human situations, and you look at them, and they're still happy. They're still strong within themselves. Their dignity is still intact. Yet you can have somebody in the best of human situations, and they look at them, and it seems like they have no dignity in the world. Dignity is in the soul. The soul cannot be touched, right? The soul will only become stronger by the situations it's facing. But it's our mind which tends to separate from the soul and creates the ego mind through our sensory awareness. We become attached to those senses. We don't want to destroy the senses. We need them, but we need to form a positive relationship with the senses. Right now, you're unable to see. You just need to move the emotions out of the way. You can't force them out of the way. You just need to let them process. Jyeshtha is an Artha-driven nakshatra. What do I mean by that? It has a concrete goal in mind. It wants to achieve, manifest something. But in order for it to do that, it needs to have the proper perspective on something. Otherwise, it's just going to try to force something through a strength of will. That's an approach you don't want to fall into. And you're trying to maintain that level of perspective or gain that level of perspective. But the ego is getting in the way of that again. The lunar tithi today, it's new moon Amavasya as we lead up to the new moon. You need to be open to guidance, and you feel you're open to guidance. And on one level, you are open to guidance. But as I said before, there's one part of you that you're not conscious of that's consciously blocking the results. And what you need to do is being reflected, or I should say what you need to not do is being reflected through the solar lunar yoga, which is driti. You need to not keep holding to the same old outcome. Don't become so wrapped up in the outcome that you're missing it. Okay, and again, though, it's more easier for me to say than it is for you to do, and that's why I want to keep bringing your attention back to the concept of it's not something you can force out of the way, it's something that's just going to naturally move after you process the situation. But try to look at where you're stuck. That is something that's going to help to move you in the appropriate direction. Just to remind you, if you wish to schedule an astrological consultation with me, I do have an astrological services page on my website. The link is up above. If you click on the link, it'll drop down a little card. Click on that. That'll take you to my astrological services page. That's going to do it for your Vedic Lunar Scope for today, the 10th of December, 2015.